Warning, this content may be disturbing to some audiences. Subscribe. If you dare.
I own a 5-foot-tall sex doll while living with 2 grandmas and my mom. Hey everybody, welcome to ANECDOSED. People ask Reddit. What's a secret you won't share with anyone in person, but you are willing to share anonymously?
Number 1.
I thought I learned how to tie my shoes when my mom showed me in pre-K, and I went around telling everyone I knew how to tie my shoes. The next time I tried to tie them, though, it turned out I forgot how, but I was too embarrassed to ask for help. I didn't learn how to tie my shoes until I was 18 or 19.
Number 2.
I'm the reason my cousin is mentally handicapped. We are the same age, and when we were 7 our grandpa bought dirt bikes for us. Well, we decided to make our own trail in the woods, and took the entire summer. I put this tree branch purposely at roughly head level, just so he could duck under it and it would look awesome. The branch was heavy, but I was able to sit it conveniently between 2 trees. He was more brave than me, so he went first. Being dumb kids, we didn't wear helmets. I yelled for him to duck, but he didn't and hit his head on the branch, got knocked backwards and hit his head again straight into the ground. I told everyone it was an accident. Grandpa sold the dirt bikes. I didn't see my cousin a whole lot after that. That was nearly 25 years ago. I see him every Christmas, and it's always the same. In a wheelchair, being spoon-fed by his mom. He can't speak, he likes to draw funny shapes. He most likely doesn't remember the incident, and I don't know if he remembers me. But that's what haunts me.
Number 3.
I broke up with my ex-boyfriend because he was cheating. He and his best friend decided to break into my apartment and wait for me to get home from going out. What started out as a chance for him to talk some sense into me and get me back turned into them keeping me hostage, raping and beating me for 18 hours. I never told anyone what happened because they threatened me. My family never understood why I broke up with him, and they still invited him to family functions. I would go to holidays and he would show up. I asked them not to, but they still did. I stopped going around them and they have no idea why. I miss my nephews and nieces, but I can't go around them and risk seeing them, and at this point it's long since it happened that I don't think they will believe me. I just want the pain of what happened and having to lose my family over it to end, but it never does.
Number 4.
On the day of our 10-year wedding anniversary, I found that my wife had been talking to a guy online, trading pics, talking about possibly leaving me for about a month and a half. I sort of knew the guy through the guild my wife and I were in, World of Warcraft. The night before, when I got home from work, she was telling me some jokes he had told her, and I found it strange that she found them as funny as she did. I felt like it wasn't something she would normally laugh at. So while we were on the couch watching TV, I logged into her Discord account, and the first thing I saw was "I'd send you butt pics, but I'm being supervised." I immediately excused myself and went to bed. I didn't know what to think, so I just shut down. Upon waking up in the morning, I googled a script that would download their chat history from Discord, and I read it all. My heart broke when I read, "I'm so angry at husband when he's not with me, but I'm fine when he's here." My heart shattered the first time I saw her say "I love you" in the chat logs. It shattered again when I saw "I thought banging husband a bunch would cure my horniness, but it hasn't." I haven't cried in. I can't even remember the last time I cried, but I cried 3 times while reading the logs. It was a sick train ride of deep sadness, despair, and anger seeing the progression of this happening. Getting further into the logs, I see them arguing, resolving said arguments, and then arguing again. At one point she exclaims to him she doesn't know why she's doing this, and that she really loves me, but he's like her kryptonite and she can't help it. I can see both of them pushing each other away, yet still trading pics, presumably through Snapchat, although I can't prove it, every so often. By the end of the logs, it appeared to me that they were basically masturbating buddies whenever one or the other got horny, I guess. It seemed like any relationship had run its course and they were just mechanically, or habitually, doing this. I confronted her. Said "Happy anniversary. Do we have another year?" Told her I found the logs and read them. She explained how it happened, that we did have another year. She didn't know how to end it once she realized what she was doing, that she didn't really cheat on me, that she would immediately block him on everything. I was pretty catatonic for almost a week. It's about 6 weeks from now. We seem to be doing fine now, I think. The trust is still broken though, and I still find myself wanting to log into all her accounts to check on things if she leaves her phone out or computer on. I am doing mostly okay at this point, though sometimes I'll hear or see something that reminds me of everything, like when I saw this post title, and I'll have an attack of depression? I guess. Hard to explain. I haven't talked to anyone about this because I still love her and I don't want my family and friends to hate her. Now, I feel like I should note why she was angry with me since I mentioned it but didn't really explain. She was angry because she felt like I wasn't doing anything / enough around the house. She talked to me about that, while she was already talking to him. Now, I felt like I was doing plenty and she just wasn't recognizing it. However, I still took her complaint seriously. So I started writing down everything I did around the house in a sort of daily journal, from picking up trash, cleaning up cat puke, taking care of the lil one, to picking up her old coffee mugs and used Splenda packets. I'm still doing this, because I realized while I was doing things around the house before I started the documentation it was hard to say how much I was actually doing because most of it seems inconsequential by itself. I would forget what I had done, making it hard to say I wasn't just being lazy. When tracking it though, it's much easier to remember, without looking at the journal, and it all added together is actually a lot that I do. Plus, it's just satisfying to see the pages fill up from margin to margin with all of that stuff.
Number 5.
I was 16 and very curious about sex. Surprise, thanks to all of the porn in the ottoman at the foot of my parents' bed. So decided one evening that it was time for third base with the boyfriend. Only I was a natural redhead and all the ladies in the magazines had black pubic hair. 'Twas the 80s, so I thought I was abnormal. Cut a long story short, I dabbed on black shoe polish before meeting him. Fortunately he was too nervous to go anywhere near the polished area, so he never did find out. Neither has anyone else until now.
Number 6.
My wife cheated on me with a professional soccer player. She claims to not have had sex with him, but I don't know if I can believe her. Before I found out by looking at her phone. She did not tell me, we were having arguments and just not getting along. One night I finally had enough and approached her to discuss what was happening to us. It was then that she told me that she didn't know if she loved me anymore. 2 weeks later I found sexual pictures of her sent to him, texts between him and her that discussed getting together to hook up, and the most hurtful things a wife could say about her husband. At this point I understood why she was feeling detached from me. All her emotional needs were being met by this other man. We have 3 amazing kids. A son and 2 daughters. 10, 9, 7 respectively. They are such good kids. I am dumbfounded that my wife would do this. We have been together for 20 years and married for 14. I think back to when she loved me and we were so happy. Life has been challenging for us, but not any different or difficult than most couples. I am so in love with her. She is an amazing mom, extremely beautiful to me, and has a very attractive bubbly personality that everyone loves. I am so proud that she is my wife. At least I was. Fast forward to now, it roughly been 7 to 8 months, she has yet to show any remorse or show me any affection. I'm so lonely, sad, afraid, and ashamed. I am very ashamed to say that I have thought about suicide. That way she would be rid of me and she could be happy. Of course, I could never do that to my kids. They would be so hurt and confused. At this point I pray that I will get a fatal disease or have a fatal accident. We have been and still are going to counseling. She did end the relationship with the other man the day after I found out. She did say she loves me but is not romantically in love with me. Her actions are just not showing me much. I haven't told a soul except the counselor. Close friends of mine always ask me what is wrong. My brothers and parents do the same. I don't want them to think that my wife is anything but a good wife and lover.
Number 7.
When I was a little girl, 3 or 4, I had a friend who came over to my house to play. She liked for the 2 of us to play in the doghouse in the backyard, where she would try to get me to play a game that she said her dad played with her. The game involved touching each other in ways an adult should never touch a child. My mom thought it was weird that the girl always wanted to play in the doghouse with me and so got rid of the doghouse pretty quickly. I didn't understand what the game meant then, and it took 2 decades for me to realize just what it meant. It was like lightning just struck me one day and I suddenly remembered the incident and understood what it meant. That little girl was abused by her dad and I can't even remember her name. I still haven't gotten the courage to ask my mom if she remembers the girl. I've never tried to find her. I have never told anybody and I'm ashamed of my cowardice. Update: thank you all for your support, kind words, and encouragement. I spoke with my mom about everything tonight and she remembers the little girl. I know her name and I'm going to try and find her.
Number 8.
I own a 5-foot-tall sex doll while living with 2 grandmas and my mom. It was interesting, the doll and getting this big box weighing 80 pounds into the house with no one noticing. I sat outside waiting for UPS to arrive just so no doorbell was rung. Had to go through the front door, through the hallway, then into my room. Somehow I did it with no one seeing. After owning her for about a week, it's a real bitch trying to keep her clean with people around, so strategizing cleanup times in the bathroom sure is a chore. One time I had her in the bathtub to clean up and just took a shower so no one would question, then I opened the bathroom door to see my grandma waiting to use it. I just had to pray she didn't open the shower curtains while doing her business, in which she didn't. So a few months go by, some family needs to move in. I would now share my room with my brother and his girlfriend temporarily. I hide the doll in a big enough box, inside my closest. No one knows I have this life-size doll and I would rather keep it that way.
Number 9.
I had a baby when I was 15 and he was adopted. Closed adoption. Most painful thing I've ever gone through. He turns 18 in a few months and if he so chooses, he can find me. I'm married and have kids now, and my kids have no idea he exists. I really want to meet him, but I'm terrified he's got mental disorders like his biological father, who is now in prison for murder.
Number 10.
My fiancée is the only person I actually enjoy being around. I don't really say that out loud because it puts unfair pressure on her and exposes my antisocial tendencies. I wasn't always this way, it kind of happened over the past 6 or 7 years after a deep depression and struggle with drugs. I've been happy and drug-free for several years, but I haven't been the same. When I make myself hang out with friends, I generally sit there thinking about how long I should stay before I can duck out and go home without looking like an asshole. It's hard for me to have conversations with people because I just think things like, when are they going to leave me alone? Or when can I leave? I'm pretty good at hiding it, and have several people who consider me to be their friends, but I secretly get no enjoyment out of those relationships. I'm not sure why my fiancée is different, but it makes me very afraid of losing her. I'm almost positive I won't find anyone else that I will be able to love like I do her. There have been a few months here and there in the past where we split up and I went out on dates with several other women. Some of them were very pretty and very nice, but I absolutely hated the entire process and never followed through on subsequent dates. I wish I could change that about myself, but I don't know how. Make sure to share your personal story in the comments below and have the opportunity to be featured in a future video. Also, if you like these topics, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to continue seeing more content like this every day. See you next time.